Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. So which decks are competitive, obviously, but are easy to play since, as I've been seeing, from my past videos about Master Duel, is that a lot of people are picking up Yugioh again, or still playing, and played like, let's say, Duel Links, for example, but the metagame, or if you need to switch from, let's say, Duel Links, for example, and you're playing Buster Blader or Blue Eyes and want to switch to, in this case, Master Duel, that's very, very hard, right? The metagames from both games are much more different, while Master Duel is much more focused on the regular TCG/OCG card game, so it's much more different. And as I've been reading throughout the comments, a lot of people are either new to the game, they either played Duel Links and want to pick up the regular card game, right? As we now know, at least I've been knowing from ever since I've been playing the game back in 2004, or the players that started all the way back years ago that eventually quit the game maybe, but due to the fact that Master Duel got released, they picked the game back up again. And the thing is that if you want to learn the game now, how the game is played now in the regular TCG, it's super hard. A lot of combo decks, just a variety of decks that's now being played on Master Duel. It's huge. There's a huge variety in decks. Plus the ban list makes it a bit more difficult, right? It's like an old OCG ban list with some changes. Plus there are, at least Master Duel as a whole, is some sets behind as well. So with that in mind, and a potential TCG ban list coming out really soon, I feel that these decks presented today might be, for now, Season 1 might be one of the more easiest decks to get yourself into Master Duel, plus definitely competitive at the same time. So if you have absolutely no idea how to play the game or how particular archetypes work, there are some decks here in the list that are definitely useful to, first of all, get yourself into the deck and, get yourself as high as possible on the ladder. So the first list you see here is, I feel, if you absolutely have no idea how the game works, or like combos and so on, I feel this is one of the decks you should pick up first, simply because it's quite cheap in Master Duel itself. But I mean, it doesn't need to be per se like Eldlich STUN, but basically any stun deck, as in you're main decking so many floodgates, like as you see, Skill Drain, Gozen Match, Rivalry of Warlords, Vanity's Emptiness, which is legal here on Master Duel. It's banned for us, well, for the TCG players, and a huge amount of back rows. Solemn Judgment is there, Imperial Order, and the list goes on, right? So the thing is that this particular deck, it doesn't have any multiple card combos. Nope, it's just get out Golden Lord as soon as possible, backed up with multiple traps to basically protect your field and prevent your opponent from playing the game. That's how easy this is. And the advantage of this is, first of all, how Master Duel is now is the ranked ladder, all single game, single duels, so that's without the side deck. And this particular deck, it's very weak game, at least post side deck, so game number 2 and or 3 if it's like a full match, best out of 3. But that's not the case for now. So for now, how the game is now being played in ranked duels, I feel this definitely is an easy deck to pick up, an easy deck to get you in the most competitive metagame on Master Duel. Plus it's kind of cheap and competitive, obviously. These lists are not the most or the best lists, but again, just adjust them to your likings. The second list, I think, is, I feel, probably one of the best decks currently. A little bit cautious, but it's definitely one of the best decks currently on Master Duel with the ban list that's up there. And again, there are so many ways to run Zoodiac, but I prefer, at least I went for the pure build, pure Zoodiac, so short set. Zoodiac was an archetype released back in 2017. it has withstand. Well, there are a lot of different ban lists that the deck eventually got hit. Konami decided to give Zoodiac a couple of cards back, but now here on Master Duel, the deck has access to Trident. That's a very important extra deck card, plus the one of Zeus because of, I think, the OCG ban list, if I'm not mistaken. But the deck is very easy to play. You're running so many disruption cards, so many hand traps, so the deck can go both go first and go second. It doesn't really matter too much, because you're running so many hand traps. DD Crow, Effect Failure, Maxi, Ash Blossom, Impermanence, and so on and so on. So the deck can definitely go first and go second. Short set, the deck, if you're going first, you can set up a board of like Trident with, you know, more hand traps and disruptions. For example, if you're going second, you can immediately threaten your opponent with Borbao, the extra deck monster, because Zoodiac is known for one card Exceed summons. And if Borbao, for example, can attack directly and does damage, or any Exceed battles, you can go for a big material Zeus. And that's basically your big boss monster if you go second, because that's like a dark hole, a wipe the entire board, and you know, it speaks for itself. Plus Utopic Future, I believe the name is, one of the new Utopic cards for us TCG players as well, which can negate monster effect. So as a whole, Zoodiac on its own pure is not that hard to play. There are many more variations and potential hybrids with like Tri-Brigades, for example, you can do, but that makes your deck a bit more difficult to play. And as you see, the deck is not that expensive, because some of the staples like Zeus, it's a card that you can main in basically every deck that's running Exceed monsters. The hand traps, as I've mentioned multiple times before, okay, they might be expensive at first, but most of them can be splashed into basically any deck. So definitely go for it for this one. Next up, and this is for us TCG players, we haven't seen this deck for a while now, a couple of years, since Colossus was banned, but Colossus, I believe, is at 1 in the OCG, so at 1 here in Master Duel as well. And again, there's a couple of ways to run Thunder Dragon. I went for, again, to keep it easy as possible, but good as well, is to go for pure Thunder Dragon, well, Chaos version, since you're using Chaos Space as well, and one of the new creator cards, the Chaos Creator, featuring, you know, Chaos Space, and get those Wyver, Burstar, Collapse Serpent, the Dragon Link package, as you might know, to get your engine going. So this deck, okay, there are some combos you need to learn, but it's not that hard. Like let's say you're going first, and because this deck still has access to Colossus, just go for your first turn Colossus. Because again, that's basically, the card is called Mistake on Legs. Again, your opponent can't search, it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, you know, by banishing something from your graveyard, but again, that triggers your Thunder Dragons, like Dark, for example, to get those searches. So, as a whole, the complete picture, this deck is not really that hard to play, but you need to invest some time into it, you know, get some combos, get to know what the cards do, obviously, but you know, that counts for basically any deck, right? So Chaos Thunder or Thunder Dragon Pure, it's definitely something to get you up there, up the ladder. Next up, and this is something that I haven't mentioned yet, also not in the previous videos, should be linked somewhere here in the video as well as an annotation, but Dinosaurs. And this Dinosaur build is a particular build of going second, so if you're ranking up the ladder, you're basically always want to go second, and as you see, there's a lot of going second cards like Triple Maxi, Triple Lightning Storm, and Triple Evenly Matched to, let's say, if your opponent establishes a board with a couple of negations or has a lot of back rows, your opponent is playing Eldlich, for example, with like Skill Drain on all the floodgates, this deck definitely hard counters that with Lightning Storm and Evenly Matched. So again, Dinosaurs is not really a hard deck to play, okay? Again, just like Thunder, there are some combos, card effects you need to get yourself into, but the most important key card here is Miscellaneous Source, which in the TCG, as we now know, is at 1. And that kind of nuked the deck for us TCG players, but the fact that Miscellaneous is at 3 over here, Miscellaneous just basically says no to any of your opponent hand traps. So your opponent, Ash Blossom, Impermanence, Nibiru, all your dinosaur monsters are basically protected during that particular main phase. So you can set up everything and basically go for game during the battle phase with Conductor that, you know, can attack all of your opponent's monsters, and sitting at, what is it, 3,500 I think. So again, pretty straightforward dinosaurs. There is the extra deck. You have access to True King of all Calamities with your like a potential rank 9 package. So definitely go for that one. Dinosaurs is definitely something I would recommend, especially to get yourself into the game. Next up, and this is a cool one, it's part of a meme, you know, normal summon Alistair. It's a deck that will Invoked, I guess, Invoked Dogmatika. You might have seen other deck lists or upgrades to this deck, like Invoked Dogmatika Shadows or Invoked Shadows, for example. That's a bit harder to play, but if you want to get yourself into the game, learn the combos, learn Yu-Gi-Oh! Is this Invoked package with Dogmatika to, you know, to I guess give the deck more punch, more negations. The best opening of this deck, I guess, is you can definitely go first, normal summon Alistair, use your extra deck with Salamangreat, Almirage, and, you know, the Secure Gardna, set up an extra deck monster in your graveyard, and that turns on your Dogmatika package. So again, you need to invest some time to I guess, learn some combos, but it's really not that hard, this deck, because again, go for Magaba to get that once per turn negation, the fusion, and maybe some extra hand traps. As you see, again, very similar to Zoodiac, you're main decking so many disruptions, so many hand traps, Veiler, Maxi, Blossom, Imperm. So again, I feel that this deck speaks a little bit for itself, but again, you need to invest some time, right, to get to get used to the combos. But it's a deck that basically after every ban list, Invoked is most of the time one of those decks that players tend to pick up in a new format, but, you know, eventually when a format starts to establish itself, people are moving away from it. Anyway, a bonus, so like a 6 deck, I guess, but this is, I guess, public favorite, or, you know, like if you watched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, including myself, Heroes is definitely a super popular archetype, and there are some differences with our TCG, our current TCG ban list, is that on Master Duel, as you see, the deck has triple hero lifts, and that's crucial. Pay half of your life points to special summon something like Stratos from the deck, superb, triple Maxi, and double Callby, because Heroes does have a big weakness that it's super vulnerable to hand traps and disruption. It's not an easy deck. Like, if all the cards are new, it's not the easiest deck to get, you know, to get yourself into the game. But it's worth it, because you're playing Dark Law, which is a Macrocosmos, banishes all cards from the opponent, which is super anti-meta. Sunriser clears boards, plus Malicious Bane is also super powerful. So for now, because we can expect Destiny Hero, Phoenix Enforcer as well soon in Master Duel, one of the new cards in the TCG. So that's something that you can definitely splash in this one as well, but that's not out yet here on Master Duel. So to conclude, like, which deck would I, or at least which decks would I recommend if you're like completely new? I would probably go for any stun deck like Eldlich with Floodgate, Skill Drain. It's maybe not the most fun deck to play, but it's something to get you high up the ladder. Doesn't really need more, at least a lot of preparation, a lot of combos that you need to, you know, like acknowledge or learn. But if you're not up to that, I would definitely recommend running something like Dinosaurs or, you know, any of these decks you just saw today. Thunder is a good one as well, because again, it's good. And it just, you know, also has like cards that prevent your opponent from playing the game. So for me, that's it. But short set, I would probably go for Zoodiac, simply because it's super streamlined, super easy to play, and for now, with the current ban list on Master Duel, I think one of the best decks in Master Duel for now, right, in Season 1. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Big signing out. Peace.